Gyananjana Shalakaya Shakshurumiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gaurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadaraye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Vedanta-sutra, 3rd chapter. So we have seen how by doing sacrifice one goes to the moon, to Chandraloka, by the path of the smoke, because when they burn the body, then through this fire, the smoke, the soul is ascending and gets a special body, Somaraj, so that he can live on the moon. And then when his good works, the fruit of his good works is exhausted, then he comes back down on earth. So the question is, some Shruti will say everybody will actually go to the moon after death, but actually that is not so. That is not so, because there are people who do bad works, sinful activities, and never do any sacrifice, never do any religious activities, and so they go to hell. This is what the next sutra is saying. Samyamane Tvananu Bhuyetaresham Aroha Varaho Tadgati Darshanat. The sinful go to Yama's abode. This is the first word, Samyamane. Yama, the abode of Yama, and experience suffering. That is the coming and going of this soul. Instead of going to heaven, they go down to hell, and then after they come back on earth, but not as human beings. They take birth as animals or insects for so many lifetimes before coming back to the body, a human body. This is described in scriptures. Darshana means scriptures, the darshan. Those who would discard religious activities and engage in sinful activities go to hell. Miscreants do not believe in heaven and hell. But this has nothing to do with belief. Whether you believe or not, hell is there, even on earth. Even hell or heaven can be on earth. Srimad Bhagavadam is describing how there are different kinds of heaven. And there's a heaven called Bila Swarga. The Swarga that is here on earth. If you go to a nice island with very nice white sand, and so it seems like it is heaven. But also hell. Some people, they have really difficult life. They are suffering already. Actually, the law of karma can be seen in the way people live. This is called, this earth is called Bhumi, Karma Bhumi, because we create karma. And we come back from heaven with some residue of karma. And we come back from hell with some residue of karma. And we can see some people suffer greatly. They are poor, they're miserable, they are born in low-class family, while others enjoy life and all facilities without any efforts. And some are gifted. They are very, they have natural gift, either intellectual or with their hands, or they are artists. And others are dull, dumb, and stupid. Some seem to learn very quickly. Two people can do the same work. One is learning very quickly, very easily, and the other is learning very slowly and sometimes not at all. So these are certain proof that they must have been some karma in the past. Otherwise the world is very unfair. But it is not like this. We have some residue of karma, and we will have to suffer or enjoy. Usually our karma is mixed. We have good, we have bad. If you have done some good activities, maybe you can go to Swarga for 15 minutes only. There's a story like this in the Purana, where someone has committed so many sinful activities, he's about to go for thousands of years in hell. and he has given a glass of water to a sadhu so he can go 15 minutes in heaven. So then they ask him, what do you choose first? Do you want first to go to hell for thousands of years and then later on you can go for your 15 minutes in heaven? Or vice versa? And he says, I'd rather go to heaven now. So he goes to heaven for 15 minutes and he's thinking, I'm going to heaven because I did one good activity, not even being aware of it. So if I can associate more with sadhu and he can hear Harikatha, maybe I will get more pious activities. So he's trying, in his 15 minutes in heaven, he find a temple. Very, very big hall in the temple. No one is there because in heaven, everybody's enjoying so much, they're not interested in spiritual life. But one sadhu is reading scripture and he sits down and he spends the 15 minutes of his time listening to Harikatha from sadhu. Then some people are coming saying he has to come down to hell because now his time is up. But then the Vishnu Dutta, they say, no, you cannot take that man. Now he has listened more Harikatha. Then all of the sinful activities is washed away. Of course, this is to encourage us to listen from sadhu, Harikatha. But you can go 15 minutes in heaven because you've done some pious activities and thousands of lifetimes in hell, or vice versa. Usually our karma is mixed. So this first pada means a quarter. It means also a foot, but it means in each chapter, there's 4 chapters of Vedanta, and each chapter is divided into four padas. Like animals, they have 4 legs. Similarly, each chapter, they have 4 feet or 4 quarters. So the first quarter of this 3rd chapter is called Vairagya, because it teaches us how to become renounced from this material world. When you hear there are so many evil and miserable place, and even when you go to heaven you have to come back, and when you come down this is a lot of suffering, especially when you come down on earth. We'll talk about this later on, but this is a lot of suffering. Now we're on the subject of hell. So next sutra saying smaranti cha. Smara means to remember, and then it means smriti. Smriti, Shruti, 2 words to describe scriptures. Shruti, they are the oldest scriptures like Rigveda and all the 4 Vedas. Brahmana Upanishads, these are called Shruti. Smritis are Puranas, Itihasa, Mahabharata, and they confirm also the same thing. So when you read Srimad Bhagavadam, this is king of Smriti Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, it describes how a human being is working very hard to maintain his family and sometimes commit many sinful activities. And when he becomes old, no one is taking care of him. He's like an old bull that people tolerate, but he cannot do anything for the family anymore. And then comes a time where he is invalid, he cannot talk, and then death comes. So the Bhagavatam says his eyes will start to bulge because there's so much air coming into the head that his eyes are going to bulge like this. Then his throat is blocked with mucus. He starts coughing heavily and breathing with difficulty, and his throat begins to rattle. And then he sees 2 Yamadutta, 2 servants of Yama, coming with red eyes, angry eyes, and they come and they're going to attach him with ropes, and he's so afraid that he passes stool and urine, and he falls unconscious. And he hears when he wakes up, he hears all his relatives crying for him, and the Yamadutta taking away the soul with the subtle body, because the soul cannot be touched by the Yamadutta. It is with the subtle body, and they take him to hell through a road full of suffering, hot sand with dogs barking and biting him in the legs, and he's being beaten by whip, and he's crying and falling, he's thirsty, he's hungry, nothing, and he goes to hell. And there's a big description in the 5th canto also of the different kind of hell. So this is to teach us vairagya, that we should be renouncing all these sinful activities for sure, but also we should be renouncing also good religious activities that are going to lead us to heaven, and we will come back again on earth. The next sutra, Sutra 16, 2 words, api sapta. Sapta means 7, api means also 7. So in the sutras you have to supply all the missing words. So what is missing is that the sinful also go to 7 hell. There are 7 hell listed in the Mahabharata. Rorava, Maharorava, Vani, Vetarani, and Kumbhipaka. These 5 types of hell are called temporary hell. Then Anitya Narak, and then the eternal hell, Nitya Narak, Tamisra and Tamisra. Sripad Madhvacharya take this, he quotes those 2 verses in Mahabharata, and he takes the meaning of eternal hell literally. He says there are temporary hell and eternal hell. And this is not an arthavada for Sripad Madhvacharya. He said this is not an exaggeration, it is real. Now this is something very special, unique in the vision of India. Because India, Buddhism or Hinduism in general see temporary heaven and temporary hell. Christianity and Muslim, they believe in eternal hell. Eternal heaven, eternal hell. But in Buddhism and Christianity, it is described that heaven and hell are not eternal, and heaven not eternal. But Sripad Madhvacharya here is sustaining the idea of eternal hell. He does that for many sutras actually. He does that speaking that those who blaspheme the Lord, those who deny the Lord, they go to this Andatamisra. So Srimad Bhagavatam is describing 28 kinds of hell. That can be included in this little prefix, not prefix, but this particle called api also. 7 multiplied by 4, that is 28. Because if we want to describe the different kind of sins, then there are different kinds of hell. Nevertheless, I do not know whether hell is eternal or whether it is temporary. I always believed that it is temporary, but some hell can be so long, the punishment can be so heavy that it seems like an eternity. And when we are suffering, time seems to be so slow. Like we are locked up in jail. We are counting not only the days, but the hours and the minute when we become liberated. When we are enjoying, time flies very quickly. Actually, time is the same, but the mind, the conception of the mind seems like it goes very quickly. And when, like even the gopis 1 second seems like 1 kalpa. In separation, Mahaprabhu also say, like 12 years or more, but actually 12 years means 1 kalpa. 1 little second of separation from you is like 12 years or more, or 1 kalpa. And 1 dance, 1 rasa lila, it is an actual kalpa, but it goes very quickly. So similarly, hell seems to be very, very, very long, almost eternal. I am not trying to disagree with Madhvacharya. Whatever he says is perfect. He's warning us, please be careful. If you want to do sadhana First of all, you have to renounce this material world, renounce the so-called pleasure, the so-called happiness of this world, and be aware not to offend the Lord and the sadhus. Because even in our scriptures we say that offense to the pure devotee can destroy your bhakti. So this is almost like hell, eternal hell. If you destroy your bhakti, then you don't stand anywhere. So, to resume, the Shastra is saying there are 3 destinations after death. Those who perform sacrifice, those who follow religious rites in order to go to heaven and enjoy the fruits of their good works. Practically, the majority of people following religion, this is what they want to do, they want to achieve. If you tell them you follow those rites and you follow the sacrifice, you fast for the entire month. For the Muslim, they have this month where they fast for an entire month, and you tell them you don't get any benefit from that. Just the Lord will be pleased with you, but you don't get any benefit, material benefit. Do you think people will follow? If you tell them whether you go to heaven or hell doesn't really matter, you just do it because the Lord is pleased. Will they do it? Of course not. They do it because they want to go to heaven. And they want to enjoy a nice life also on earth. This is the idea of man religion. So, those who do the fire sacrifice in India, they go by the path of the Pitri, the ancestor, to the moon. And they come back again. First they become akasha, ether, then air, then mist, then cloud, then water, rain, water. Then the water falls on the earth, and then it's growing into the seeds, the different seeds, food that is eaten by man, and man that transform into semen, which is implanted into the woman's body, and then life begins again. We'll see it again. It seems complicated, but it's not. And this is the path of Pitriana, one path. The second one is those who don't do sacrifice, don't do religious activities, are miscreant, they go to hell. And they can go to hell for a long time. And when they come back on earth, they also come back on a different process. They don't go all these different rain and no. Because they will take birth on earth first as an insect or a pig or a dog for many thousands of lifetimes, because they still have some residue of bad karma, and then finally they take birth as a human because their karma is going to be purged, the bad karmas. And the third path is those who act with knowledge and follow the path of the God. It's called Devayana. And they meditate on Brahman or Vishnu, they don't come back. So this is the 3 paths described in the Chandogya Upanishad and a different Upanishad. And if we want to go to Goloka Vrindavan, then we have to find a proper guru, and we have to practice the right bhajan. And then we can go. We don't want to go to hell. Nobody wants to go to hell. We don't want to go to heaven either, because it's a big waste of time. We spend so much time there. One day of the God equals 6 months on earth. So even if you spend just a few years, then so much time has gone, and you come back, and where's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement? So we should not waste our time. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Banchikalpa tarubhyacha kripa sindhu bhyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.